Hey, Shalom Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Barakatham to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Elatham Ba'ashem Yahushai to all the sisters. This is the ISUPK started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And this is the ISUPK Las Vegas Tuesday Brotherhood class. I am priest and officer of 50 on Rock. And today we're going to wrap up what we've been talking about the last couple of classes that I had with y'all, which is, the separation and the division that we're supposed to have with these other nations. You understand? Before I have an article that I wanted to bring out to, pretty much touch up on that subject about why we should separate, because of how the other nations look at us, deal with us, and just all around how they just essentially despise us. And that's the most important thing that we have to understand. You understand? Before we get into that, I'm just going to ask that y'all do what I'm doing right now, which is liking and sharing the Facebook and the YouTube pages and videos. Everybody needs to do their part in spreading this word out to the four corners of the earth. We say this every week in every single class, and we do so because it is that important. It's very important for us to push out, these videos. And it's not just my class. It's not just our Wednesday Las Vegas class, our Thursday Las Vegas class. It's not just the ISUPK Las Vegas classes as a whole. It's anything that's ISUPK. You understand? Those classes need to be pushed out, because there's always a brother or a sister that is in need and also want, mind you, a brother and sister that wants and needs to change their life around. And especially the brothers and sisters that want to change their life, you understand, they need a real solution. And the reason why they want and haven't done it is because they haven't found the ISUPK first and foremost. Because if you're a so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, the only solution that you have to fixing your life is to come into the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana, so that he can teach you how to serve the Lord, to wash away all of the Christian, Christian views that you have in your mind. Remove those Disney glasses and that Disney hat that you have on your head, where you think that everything is so kumbaya and everything, from the Bible to the actual world. You understand? Because neither is so. And that's one thing that we all have to understand and learn, and you can only learn that here. So it's very important that we all do our part to push out this word to the four corners of the earth. You understand? I think that's okay. So now, like I said, I'll say this before we actually get into the article. For those of y'all that have any questions, please post them. Feel free to post them in the chat. If you have anything that you want to bring out, what have you, post it in the chat. We'll bring it out in the class. You have a question that needs to be answered, you understand, I will answer that to the best of my ability. If I'm unable to answer it myself, we are not like the Christian church. You understand? If I'm not able to answer your question myself, I'm not going to be like a Christian pastor and tell you, go home and pray on it, or go home and just keep on reading and pray on it. Let God reveal it unto you. The Lord will reveal it unto you, of course. But we don't, things go a whole lot deeper than just prayer. You understand? Also, to the extent that you have to actually seek out the knowledge from the brothers that the knowledge was even given to in the first place, which are the priests and the prophets of the Lord. You understand? So with that being said, y'all have a question I'm unable to answer myself. Hey, Shalani, Triple Taz Award. It's good to see you. If y'all have a question I'm unable to answer, I'll get the answer for you on on a later date. So with that being said, we're gonna get into this article again. We're going into today's topic being the Brotherhood class is to go a little bit deeper on how division is on the pathway to salvation, just like the title of today's class of this video reads. You understand? And so with that, I got this article I wanted to bring out for y'all. It says Ohio police chief out after leaving Ku Klux Klan note on black officer's coat. Now, mind you as well, we don't even have to ask what race this man is. A white dude leaving a Ku Klux Klan note on a brother's coat. Mind you as well, this is in the police force. You understand? This is the police chief leaving it on one of his subordinate officers' desk, a Ku Klux Klan note. Now, before we go any further on reading into this article, I want y'all to just ponder on the fact that if, within the police precinct, a brother can't even trust his own boss or the white dude that's right next to him, because all he knows is once he takes off that badge and that uniform, he goes home and puts on bed sheets on his back and in a pillowcase on his head. You understand? If they can't even trust their coworkers from within the job, and mind you as well, the police are the ones who are supposed to be keeping law and order on the streets, right? That's what the police are supposed to be here for, right? But yet, they are affiliated and a part of one of the most notorious white supremacy groups in America, if not possibly, probably the world at that. You understand? What's their nickname? The Silent Army. They sure as hell silent, because a lot of y'all, doctors, your lawyers, and police officers, all the major professions of which we go to for help when we're in a time of need. And the funny thing is we always get put into a position where we're like, man, I feel like they could have done so much more. They could have treated my situation so much better, with whether it came down to my diagnosis or how my lawyer, handled my case, or what have you. The things go, on and on. When you had a white doctor, when you had a white lawyer, when you had a white police officer, things could have went so much different. But you sit there and question it, because, like I said, another name for the Ku Klux Klan is the Silent Army. They silent for a reason. They want you to go to them. You understand? The oppressor wants you to go to him for all your wants and needs. So then, that way he learns a little bit more about his enemy and knows how to infiltrate him. And it really gets that simple. It honestly is that simple, because the so-called white man hates you, Black, Hispanic, and Native American. You understand? So, but moving forward, so it's a police chief left a Ku Klux Klan note on a black officer's desk. So now, moving on with what it reads, there's no one word to explain how disgusting this is. Sheffield Lake Mayor said of the incident involving the city's longtime police chief. Now, mind you as well, this is a police chief who is obviously got some sort of affiliation with the Ku Klux Klan for a long time. And what I mean by a long time, he's been in the police force for a long time. He got bold enough that one day at work, because mind you, there's a video that goes with this, and all of it got caught on camera. You understand? He got bold enough to go ahead and, on camera, you see him writing on the note, set up the dude, the brother's desk so that he could put the note on his desk. And you see every part, every motion of it on camera. I want y'all to think about that. All right. Now, surveillance video from the Sheffield Lake Police Department in Ohio shows a longtime chief printing a note reading Ku Klux Klan and placing it on a black officer's raincoat, according to the city's mayor. Sheffield Lake Mayor Dennis Breen said he was made aware of this incident, which occurred last week, by the police union. Chief Anthony Campo was immediately placed on administrative leave pending a review of the video. Now, mind you as well, doesn't that kind of sound familiar to the fact that there is literally a video of some white man committing a hate crime, committing a murder, what have you, doing something terrible and hateful towards a black man, a Hispanic man, or a Native American man, gets caught on video doing it, but yet, all right, we're going to put you on leave and we're going to investigate this. What is there to investigate? What is there to look over? Aside from press and play real quick, one playthrough, I mean, investigation is something where that should involve a bunch of paperwork, should involve a bunch of questions, because there's a lot of open-ended questions. You understand? Where you need to fill in them questions with answers. That's what an investigation is for. Or do I have a misunderstanding of what an investigation is for? Can anybody correct me on that, please? Or am I understanding it correctly, what an investigation is? Right? Investigation is to fill in those open-ended questions to fill them in with those answers you don't originally have. I believe you had all those answers when we was dealing with Tamir Rice. As soon as you looked at the video, you had all the answers that you needed as soon as you saw what happened with Eric Garner. As soon as you saw what happened with, with this brother that got this note put onto his jacket, with George Floyd. Why is an investigation necessary when all the questions, there shouldn't even be a question. The answers are all plain as day. You have the answers in front of you on a doggone videotape before you can even click your pen, take that piece. Salakia has told me that the internet just went out. I'm gonna check real quick and make sure that we still live. No, yeah, because Tazawar just answered. Okay, yeah, and that's actually an excellent point, Tazawar. Philando Castile got murdered in front of his family. You understand? These things are happening, but yet an investigation needs to be conducted. For what reason? For what reason? Investigation is to fill in those empty holes of answers, right? I ain't gonna ponder on that too, or I'm not gonna sit on that portion too long. So lock you in. Let's read on with that article. You got sound on the video before I push on? Because I think Salaki Trooper Tazawar, give me a 1 if you see Salaki, if you still see me live and you can hear me. Okay. Okay, you do? All right, most high Christ. All right. So moving on. I said I don't want to even hear about it, Breen said. Now, mind you, Breen is the mayor of Sheffield Lake out there in Ohio. This is the mayor of of that city. He said, I said, I don't even want to hear about it, Bree said, describing his conversation with Campo. I said, you've already have to admit it. And I said, you've got 10 minutes to get out of this office. I said, I want your keys, badge, and that's it. Get out. All right. So the mayor kind of did the right thing. But there's more to this article that you have to hear. Now, mind you as well, in the beginning of it, what did I also say happened to the chief when this happened? He was put on what? Administrative leave while they investigated it. So he was still getting paid after he did what he did. You understand? While he had to pay, turn in his badge and this, that, and the other, they did their little BS investigation, which should have been conducted within the hour, and all the final decisions within that same hour, mind you, because the video ain't that long. You understand? Anyway, we're gonna get more information on that. Bree said he also met with the officer following the incident to apologize for Campo's actions. Now, you know what? That's all fine, well, and dandy that mayor had done that. But who can tell me what that mayor should have really been doing, considering the things that have transpired during this year so far? Now, mind you, this was a hate crime that technically that's a hate crime that was just acted on, it was just conducted on this brother in the police force, right? Now, mind you as well, this is, one of America's finest. He may not be, on the New York Police Department, but this is America's finest. They are finer than the white man's military. You understand? Everybody, the finest of the fine of the American people is their police force. And it's a brother. But all he gets is a doggone all he gets is a doggone apology from the mayor. What do y'all think should have actually happened? At least put forth to happen. But you know what? Who can tell me why that apology has absolutely no weight with all things considered that have happened this year, sis? Okay, that's a good point. For those of y'all that didn't hear the sister, she said, that could have basically created a situation where somebody could have got hurt, killed, what have you. You're right. I'm not going to say that you're wrong. What else? Think of anything else? Think about what's happened this year. And I kind of gave y'all a hint as well on how you should be thinking about that matter, on why the mayor's apology shouldn't mean anything. So what's the brother's name? It doesn't even say his name yet. It just says Campo, the police chief that did this. And mind you as well, the brother don't even get any recognition. Maybe the brother didn't want to release his information, but again, ain't like a nigga can get any type of recognition for anything anyways, sis.
Well, the policy doesn't do anything, doesn't change with the actions that happened, and the guy was still getting paid regardless, so that apology, I feel like it was pointless, because they really weren't doing anything about it anyway.
Okay, that's a good point, but where I'm going with it is, I didn't see, I don't remember his name, but Derek Chauvin's partner. You know what ethnicity he was? He was Asian. You know what ended up happening towards the beginning of this year? It was a Stop Asian Hate bill. So technically today, if anybody wanted to come after him because technically he pulled watch. He was pulling a form of security to make sure that Derek Chauvin, or however the hell you say that devil's name, was able to murder George Floyd. Right? There's nothing you can say or do towards him. There's nothing. Mind you as well, let's replace the brother that got the Ku Klux Klan note on his desk and say that was an Asian dude. Now, mind you, this happened, I believe it was June 29th, June 27th. Doesn't have the exact date. I just only have the article posted date, which is July 3rd. But I know this happened the week prior to July 3rd. I believe it was June 29th, June 28th, 27th at the earliest. But at that point, the Stop Asian Hate bill had been passed. What would have happened? What do you think would have happened to that chief, the police chief then? Oh, that's prison time. That's a hate crime. He's getting a fat ass fine. He's losing he probably loses his pension, his retirement, all that he put, he worked for, all that time he put into the police force, all would have been lost off of one dumb thing. I'm not even gonna say dumb because that's in their character, that's in their spirit to do these things in the first place, mind you, right? But that white man would have been dealt totally differently, but because it wasn't an Asian man, it was a black man. The most that we can get is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Next week is 4th of July, and you just had Juneteenth a couple weeks ago, though. So let's remember that. Let's remember we just had Juneteenth, and 4th of July is right around the corner. Let's remember that. That apology means nothing. Absolutely nothing. Because there's nothing that's going to continuously stop, that's going to keep that from happening. You understand? Which is part of the reason why we need to recognize these things and separate from these people, from all of these other nations. You understand? They want nothing to do with us except for, quite frankly, and you could back this up by all of history, it's just rape, pillage, murder, and steal anything and everything they can from us. That's it. That's all they want to do. Because that's all they have done to the black man, all they have done to the Hispanic man, all they have done to the Native American man, and mind you, that's all they will do. You understand? We'll read on. It took us 10 minutes to even talk to each other. No sweat. It took us 10 minutes to even talk to each other because we were both very emotional, he said, and I apologized to him. We talked about the situation, and he told me a little bit more. I was just flabbergasted. There's no one word to explain how disgusting this is. The footage, which was obtained by the news station, captured Campo standing at the department's copier and placing the Klan printout on the coat. The KKK was a secretive society organized in the South after the Civil War to assert white supremacy, often using violence. Now, I do want to take a moment right there for just a second to give recognition to the fact that, now mind you, this is NBC News, right? This is coming out of NBC News with this article that I'm reading from, that you can read from, right? Ku Klux Klan asserted their white supremacy mostly through violence. And we all know this because when you do your history, you see those pictures, you hear the stories, mind you as well, the history memorabilia. You go to somewhere like Louisiana, you could buy postcards with, gator bait. You know what the gator bait is in Louisiana? It's black babies. You could buy postcards with black babies being used as gator bait. There's this white man that did an interview a while back. As a matter of fact, Officer Thabawan had brought this out in one of his practical knowledge classes. And if I may, just to take a brief moment, give a big shout out to Officer Thabawan out there in California. That's a powerful brother who brings out just with some powerful information. Like that brother right there is with it when it comes to the history. You understand, especially when it comes to the atrocities, just the sinister atrocities that's happened to our people as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You understand? So if I may, when y'all get the moment, whenever y'all get a chance, watch his practical knowledge series that he's got on ISUPK Hollywood Israelites. That's a YouTube page. ISUPK Hollywood Israelites. You understand? But moving forward, so there's this white man who did an interview and was talking about the stories that his granddad and his father had together on how they would go hunt for gators. They would tie a rope to a black baby's foot around their ankle. Mind you, as well, let me backtrack real quick. Where they even got the black baby from. Baby might have been just born, not even a week old yet, maybe not even a month old yet. Majority of the time, they weren't even a year old yet. Newborn babies, haven't even seen a full Earth rotation around the sun. Don't even know the difference between winter, summer, fall, and spring yet. You understand? They go and strip those babies from their mothers while they are suckling, while they're sleeping. They would go steal those babies, round them up. Then when they would go hunt for gators, back to where I was, they would tie a rope around their ankles and push the boat out, get on the boat. When they get far enough out, they would throw the baby in the back of the boat and cut on the motor. And when they knew they got a gator to bite is when the baby stopped screaming. And of course, when that rope got tight. Mind you, the Ku Klux Klan was a part of this. Very major part of this. Y'all understand this, right? And this is something that is still here today. Now, mind you, reason why I thought that was important to speak on is because they try to say that the ISUPK is a black supremacy group. Oh, it's a black supremacy group that is violent. Y'all ain't gonna see no cases against us, first and foremost. We a supremacy group because we love our people, and so be it. But we ain't out there using anybody else's babies as gator bait. We ain't out there burning crosses on anybody else's yard and hanging them, or having, what would you call it if it was a white boy, a pick cracker? Because for those of y'all that didn't know what a picnic, where that word came from, is for pick a nigga. You would go pick a nigga. They would pick a nigga, hang him. Sometimes they would tie him up, have little carnival games and whatnot, throw rocks at him until he's dead. And all the other families set up their blanket, have lunch, like a picnic, what we think of a picnic today. They would do that, but while they were watching a black man, a Hispanic man, or a Native American man have their life taken away, eating this. That was their entertainment. No, right, exactly, Trooper. Castrate them as well for water. Do all manners of sickening, sinister atrocities to our people and have lunch over it. And mind you, a lot of that was backed and conducted by the KKK. And these are the people that are your police officers, your doctors, your lawyers. You understand? All over the place, all manner of professional jobs. You understand? These are your employers, period. Moving on. Campo told WKYC in a phone interview that he retires shortly after being placed on leave. Let me say that one more time. Campo told WKYC in a phone interview that he retires shortly after being placed on leave. He added that what was meant to be part of an off-color joke is being overblown. And he has great respect for the officer whom he hired, according to the news station. Now, mind you, while he was on leave, he retired. Now, I don't believe that this article actually brings out any timeline of how long the interview actually was, how long he was actually on leave for. But needless to say, let's still not forget, everything should have been said and done, and him being fired should have been done within the hour, right? The mayor said it took him 10 minutes and just said, give me your badge, give me your gun, get your stuff, and get the hell out. Right? But how long did that investigation take? Enough for him to accumulate some more money? Enough time for y'all to, sit down and get together and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to take away your pension. Even though that brother deserves your pension, I'm not going to take it away. Even though that brother deserves your retirement, I'm not going to take it away. I'm just going to ask you to go on leave after a certain amount of time. After your leave is done, you're just going to retire. You're going to be done from there. Does anybody understand how sickening that is? That this white boy got protected to the fullest extent. He didn't lose anything. Now he's at home kicking up his feet, getting even fatter. Right? Getting a check. Check a little bit early, he ain't getting a full pension. Okay, my bad, your fault. But mind you as well, he at home with a pension he should not have. You understand? That's the whole point. Let's see if the rest of it is even worth reading. Actually, there's only a little bit left. It says NBC News efforts to reach Campo and the police union on Saturday were unsuccessful. Officials in Sheffield Lake, a city about 25 miles west of Cleveland, have not released the name of the officer involved, according to Breen. The officer is declining to speak and has retained a lawyer for possible action. Campo spent 3 decades on the police force and became chief 8 years ago. So, mind you as well, they had a Klan member in the Ohio police force for 30 years, and 8 of it, he was a police chief. These are who we elect into positions of power. These are your politicians, your dentists, your lawyers, your doctors, your professionals, your professional leaders, might I add, who we, for whatever goofy reason, we aspire to be like when we in the world. You understand what I'm saying? Now we're going to start stepping into some scripture. All right? Some of these scriptures I had brought out the last class, but I feel like especially with this article, they real important to bring out again. And we're going to start off at the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 50. Like I lost. Doggone 51. Like I'm tripping. So this is the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? Mind you, this is Christ. It's written in red. And Christ just asked a question. I'll reread the question. Suppose you think that suppose ye that I come to give peace on earth? He's asking, he said, man, you think that I come to bring peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division. And why? Why is he coming to bring division? Because you got devils like this in your police force, where they make oaths and swear to give their lives to serve and protect the people of the community, the people of their city, their town, what have you, they give an oath saying that they're going to serve the people. That's right. They give oaths, but yet they break them. Why would Christ want somebody who's going to make an oath to give their life for someone else, but break that just because whatever reason? Right? Christ don't want none of that. And mind you as well, he don't want any type of allegiance with somebody who has the type of hatred that they do towards blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. And don't get me wrong, ain't nobody hates the black, Hispanic, and Native American men and women more than the white man does, but still, nonetheless, everybody else still hates us. The Africans hate us, the Asians hate us, the Japanese, Chinese, Koreans. You understand? They all hate us. So why create any type of unity with anyone that hates you? That makes no sense. For crying out loud, we've been trying to do that for the last 200 years here in America. And look how far it's gotten us. Look how far Martin Luther King has gotten us. Where the white man just simply, and mind you as well, they come out with video cameras that everyone is able to afford on their cell phones. And yet the white man can still do the same things that they was doing at the time of Martin Luther King and still not get in trouble for it. So what did Martin Luther King really do? He later does end up saying, which I think is so funny how people love to quote Martin Luther King on, the great movement that he did for, black progression and unity and this, that, and the other. But you forget about his last quotes where he was saying that he's afraid that he just integrated his people into a burning house, into a house that is coming down. You understand? Martin Luther King knows that he knew that he took kumbaya with the so-called white man. Everybody got hand in hand, single file, and walked into a burning house. That's what Martin Luther King did. Walked you into a house where you're going to be burnt alive, suffocated by smoke, no way out, because now you lost in the sauce of the doggone smoke and fire. You're so far deep into it. That's what Martin Luther King did for you. But you know what? In ISUPK, we can help you come out of that house, come out of that stupid integration that Martin Luther King brought us into, that we have no business being a part of. It's a lot. But y'all understand? Are we going to drop that? We're going to go to now we're going to drop that and go to the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. The book of Micah, chapter 2, and verse 1. All right. The book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. Man, y'all don't even realize how heavy that is. But I'm going to read the next verse, and then we're going to break these two verses down, all right? Verse 2, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. You understand? Now, first things first. sake of teaching this class, I'm going to look a word up. All right. Now we're going to start with breaking down verse 1. Verse 1 says, woe to them that devise iniquity. Now, if y'all don't know, the word woe, that's spelled W-O-E, or in alphabetical phonetics, is Whiskey, Oscar, Echo. Woe means death and destruction, right? So it says, woe to them that devise iniquity, or death and destruction to them that devise inequity. What does it mean to devise inequity? We know that inequity is, to do anything that's basically sinful, right? But let's see, devise, just because we teach it, right? We teach it, we're going to make sure that everybody in the classroom understands every word that's being spoken, every part, and also every part of these verses, right? So devise, it's a verb. Plan or invent a complex procedure, system, or mechanism by careful thought. Let's put that definition into this first line. Woe to them, death and destruction to them that devise, that plan or invent a complex procedure, system, or mechanism by careful thought of iniquity. Now, who can tell me what is one thing that they thought up carefully and thoughtfully, a system or even a mechanism of inequity? Can anybody give me an example of who verse 1 is speaking about, or what verse 1 is speaking about? I'll give y'all a few moments, try to come up with an answer. Give y'all just a few moments. Okay, so the triple task words said ghettos, identity theft, and slavery. Not necessarily. I'm thinking of more along the lines of, how about something like Christianity? You understand? You could say identity theft, yeah, because, look at how you say it, Judaism. Them cats out there in our land, in Israel, that claim that they're the real Jews, but are not. You understand? Those are those that this scripture is talking about, death and destruction to them who devise inequity. And their inequity is, they're making us forget who we are, because they said, no, the so-called white man is the real Jew. You a slave. You our slave. That's the best that they'll give us. You understand? So, moving on. And work evil upon their beds. Now, work evil upon their beds. But you think that, that's a little manifold right there in itself. They work evil upon their beds. They're doing evil things on their beds. And then, mind you as well, it's a non-stop circle of, it don't matter if they awake or they sleeping. If they just waking up in the morning. They just laying there just to get a couple minutes to kind of relax their back and kick up their feet for a minute before they got to get back up and do whatever they got to go do. When they laying down, they working up some more evil. You understand? When the morning is light, they practice it. So when the morning is light, so first thing in the morning, they see that out. Whatever they thought, whatever they were working up while they were in bed. You understand? Whatever they thought up while they were in bed, putting the work in their mind, the night before, they wake up, first light. Okay, let me implement this now. Let me see how this actually works, how this actually would go down. Let me see if it will work and what it'll look like and how much damage I can do to the people I want to damage, because we know damn well they're not sending those smallpox blankets or anything of the like to China. You understand? Mind you as well, there's all sorts of food relief and home sheltering programs to go out there in Africa. You understand what I'm saying? America pays billions with a B, billion of dollars to the fake Jew every year just to pay some sort of condolences for what had happened in World War II. You understand? But yet, here in America, what do we get? Christianity, Muslim, what else? What else we get? They want to push drugs into our streets. Because mind you, I don't know no nigga that owns an airport. I don't know no nigga that owns a port, a boat port. You understand? But yet, our neighborhoods, our ghettos, our neighborhoods, where our people are majority black people. Our neighborhoods are filled with drugs. How does that work? How does that make sense? We can't fly it in. We can't bring it in with a boat. But yet, how are all these drugs, kind of Hindus, monks, you understand? But how is it that these things are getting into our neighborhoods, but yet we have no way to bring them in? You understand what I'm saying? This is them putting it to work. Who was it that declared war on drugs? I believe it was Ronald Reagan, right? Ronald Reagan called a war on drugs, going into starting up into the crack epidemic and whatnot, going into the 70s, right? Where did cocaine from? Where did cocaine come from? South America and also over the pond, right? But yet, how is it here in America, in North America, the way that it was, for it to be inside of, mind you, the ghettos, right? In the ghettos where, a white man real quick to say that y'all niggas ain't shit because you ain't got shit and this, that, and the other. You want to talk all types of down on us, but yet we got enough shit to go, move an entire continent down south or over the pond, the Great Pond, to go get some opium or go get some crack cocaine, you know what I'm saying, to go get all these drugs that plague our neighborhoods, mind you. You understand? Makes sense to that. No, they came up with a plan. They thought on all night, man, you know what? I could use my military. We're already down there in South America. You understand? Going up into Venezuela and all that, and just sending our troops. Take over a couple of camps that we are aware of. Same thing with Vietnam. That's what we was there for. Vietnam had nothing to do with liberating anybody, to bring democracy. The democracy is bringing back drugs to keep us oppressed. You understand? But that's all it was. They thought that through. War is so lucrative because what comes out of it? Why is there always a drug epidemic, pandemic, which one's more local? Pandemic, epidemic? Whichever one it is. A drug issue in your country, you understand, Why does there become a drug issue every time that America goes to war? There's a new drug issue. Opium became a really big thing after the Vietnam War. And then what? The Gulf War, what became bigger? I know pills became an even bigger issue when we went into when America went into the Middle East. What else? For those of y'all that didn't know, what came out of World War II? World War II was crystal meth. War, the only thing that really comes out of war when the so-called white man is conducting it is a lucrative business because of a new discovered drug. You understand? We're gonna move on. They practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Now that is so heavy because it's simply saying that they do it because they can. They are in the position to do it. I've heard some brothers, when I was in the world and whatnot, doing my thing, some brothers that would say that they would only sell to white people, or even they would only have sex with white. They would never marry a white woman, but they would have sex and stuff like that with white women. And mind you, I'm not condoning this at all. Not even the selling of drugs. All right, they both unlawful through and through. You understand? But the brother would say that he would only want to deal with white women, so then basically he can just smash and dash because of the way that they treat us. So he gets what he wants and then just leaves them feeling dirty, and he feels like that's retribution for what they've done to us, throughout history. And then he would only sell to white people because they're destroying our neighborhoods, and so he was trying to destroy their neighborhoods. But mind you, one thing that he's also forgetting, which is a very big thing, is the simple fact that they get drug rehab programs. They are given that. When a black, Hispanic, Native American, we don't. It's there's very few of us who are actually given the help that, when we ask for it. You understand? The help that we need, very rarely do we actually get it. You understand? Which is also very important for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. No matter what your affliction is, this is why it's important for you to find the ISUPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, under Commanding General Yohana, so that Commanding General Yohana can appoint the men over you to help you get right, to help you get clean, to help you overcome those afflictions. You understand? He's got priests and prophets of the Lord that are trained to help you overcome your drug issues, whatever type of abuse issues that you had in your past, to help you get over these things. You understand? That's the only power that we have right now. Until Yahweh Shai Mashiach comes to bring that division. And of course, you understand, but we fighting for the ISUPKs to be on their right side with Yahweh Shai Mashiach in the Hebrew, or Jesus Christ in the English. You understand? So then that way, when everybody else is getting their heads chopped off or putting chains around their neck or what have you, we on that right side where it's, damn, I'm glad I listened to that brother on that video. And if I may, speak personally, I had a big hiccup issue when I was first coming into the school. I'm not going to go into details with it, but what I will say is Captain Sakawar, he was a big impact on my life, where I can look back on it now, and hell, especially if I get taken up in them chariots. I'm going to look back on that day in January of 2018 and say, man, I'm glad I listened to that brother. I'm glad that brother afflicted my spirit when he said what he said about, basically, somebody tries to say that you ain't supposed to be in the school. If you listen to him and you're supposed to be in the school, You're just trying to find an excuse to just sin. I'm glad I listened to that brother. I'm glad that that brother afflicted my spirit with those words. That he used those words to afflict my spirit. You understand? Because had he not of, hell, I might not have even been walking this earth today. Period. You understand? So we're gonna read on. Verse 2, and they covet fields. And we're going to look up what that word covet means. Covet is a verb, which means yearn, to possess, or have something. So to yearn, to possess is to, to want, to have something, I wish I really had that. You understand? And what is it that they are coveting? What is it that they are yearning for? And they covet fields. They yearn for fields. What fields do you think that is? Weren't the fields of the land, the open land of America before the colonizers came here in America? Wasn't it plentiful and vast? But they wanted to have it for themselves, right? And take them by violence. Now, mind you as well, I started, I went into with saying the colonizers first in the first for a reason. Because how was it that the Native Americans lost this land? It's not like they had a business deal and shook hands and said, "Hey, you know what? We so kind, and we want y'all to, oppress us and put us on reservations. You can have North America. You can have all this vast land that's plentiful with food, water, what have you, space, period. That essentially we could coexist on, co-inhabit on. I don't want to say coexist, but cohabit on. We could do that, which essentially was what the Native Americans was trying to do. Yeah, we'll teach you how to farm and fish on this land. We'll teach y'all how to get down on this land and survive. And what was the payment for that? An act of kindness for someone to live in what the white man called the New World. What was the return gift? Violence, smallpox, the raping of women, the raping of men, women, and children. Let's not forget the fact that the so-called white man is filled with buku homosexuals. You understand? The pillaging, then stole their identity. Because mind you, if you ever learn about what $5 Indians are, when they was going through, allowing them to document that they were for like government assistance for those that are Native American by a certain blood degree. If you gave the man $5, now you just secured your future generations with government benefits, where you have rights to pieces of land. You ain't no doggone whatchamacallit. Ain't no Native American. Which that in itself, woe to them that devise iniquity. Again, they working up all sorts of manner of wickedness. You understand? And they covet fields and take them by violence. I'm taking these things by violence. You understand? Breaking the peace treaties. You understand? And houses and take them away, and the houses. And they take them, just taking them. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. This land is our inheritance. This land was for the Gadites, the Ishmaelites. You understand? This is for our Northern Kingdom brothers. You understand? And 10 tribes in the Northern Kingdom, so-called Hispanics and so-called Native Americans. This land is for them. so that they can serve God on a land that no man has ever touched, has ever set foot on. So it was a land that was separate from everything else. You understand? They wanted to come oppress a man's house and his heritage. Everything about the Gadites, the so-called Native Americans, the Israelites, the so-called Hispanics, the so-called Mexicans, the whole so-called Hispanics as a whole, everything about them, they don't do anything according to their own heritage, to their own house. Mind you as well, that's why so many women have such issues with more than one woman. Because they want to practice a custom that fits them and their feelings. First and foremost, the Bible, the Most High God don't give a damn about your feelings. And in fact, if you care about your feelings more than the Lord and the law, statutes, and commandments, then your people, then your king, to hell with you. Death and destruction, woe unto you, because you part of the doggone problem. Straight like that. You understand? You think that monogamy is the way that's, is going to actually fix things? When monogamy is part of the issues that have plagued our people. Now, mind you as well, monogamy came from another culture. Now, mind you, there's not me saying that, hey, there's anything wrong with monogamy. You got to have more than one woman. That's not what I'm saying in the slightest. But to think that that is a requirement, that's the problem. When you have those types of expectations of a woman thinking that, oh, it's 50-50, happy wife, happy life. The only thing I heard was pussy on a pedestal and pussy on a pedestal. So I like it for my language, but that's all I heard. And when that box is on a pedestal, what else does that mean? First of all, it ain't 50-50. But secondly, you just knock the man out of his position that he's supposed to be within the house. Mind you, so they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Man, you oppress the man in his house, you oppressing everything. Now the woman gonna take over. You know what the woman gonna do? She's gonna do everything based off of how she feels. That's for the birds, though. Y'all can have that. You take that nonsense somewhere else. It's a lot. But we're gonna drop that. We're gonna go to the book of Psalms, chapter 49 and 11. All right. The book of Psalms, chapter 49, verse 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Now, if you got any question about who they is in this verse, before even looking up or looking down, doing a cross-reference to find out within the scripture, which, mind you, I always will always encourage y'all to do research in that way, of course. But just think about what America is. North and South America, what that's named after, what Africa is named after. With these places that are being colonized and overrun by the so-called white man, by our oppressor, the name, they use their names, what's his name? Marisago. Amerigo Vespucci. That's what America is named after. You understand? Find out what Africa is named after. Leo Africanus. You understand? These are the names of people who weren't the first ones to live here. These weren't the people to actually claim rights. But that's, we call it bottom people. You understand? Mind you, said their inward thought, what they think inside, that their houses shall continue forever. They think their seed will go on and on. They will always have a home. And their dwelling places to all generations. And where they live, everywhere, to all generations. Forever. They think they will be here forever. And mind you as well, America was species, Columbus cartographer. Hey, most I quite appreciate you for that information, Trooper. Edom doesn't believe their kingdom will fall. And you're exactly right about that as well. Edom don't. That's why he goes about things the way that he does with, his inward thought, what we just read in Psalms 49 and 11. You know what I'm saying? All right. Pretty sure y'all get that, though. Man, Esau think he's going to live here forever. He's going to be here forever. That's why he said, you know what? When I come back, my children and et cetera, you all get to come back and glorify and with our family, with my family too. That's why it's called America. We get to glorify in the name of the land that is named after my forefather. That's what they own forever and ever. Because until you take it from them, America is going to be called America. You understand? But now we're going to drop that. We're going to go to the book of John, chapter 8, verse 44. The book of John, chapter 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Now right here, this is Christ speaking, and he's speaking to the Sadducees and the Pharisees. Mind you, what y'all got to understand is the father that he is referring to is the, the fact that they worshiping a false god. They worshiping that devil. You understand? And who is that devil? So, the oppressor. Because mind you, this was done, times of the Romans and whatnot. When the Romans were in great power. You understand? And so, because you following after the Romans and doing as they tell you and this, that, and the other, whatever order they give you and you follow through with it, you saying that you listen to their laws, statutes, commandments. And that's all that matters to you. It's their laws, statutes, commandments. So therefore, their God is your God. And who is their God? Yeah, the Romans have multiple gods and, this, that, and the other. But ultimately, who is it? It's the so-called white man, the deceiver, who put these doggone lies on the face of the earth in the first place. The synagogue of Satan. Exactly, the water trooper. You understand what I'm saying? Satan, the synagogue of Satan, the so-called white man creates all these lies. Oh, well, what if, what's that nonsense song? I don't know if that actually came out of a black church. I feel like it came out of a white church, where they sitting there talking about what if God was one of us, sitting on the bus, with us and all that nonsense. I feel like that's something a white boy would say. Something a white woman, would come up with. You understand? Because I know damn well that they were singing in my mom's church. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, who do they think their God is in the first place? Caesar Borgia, which is a so-called white man. You sitting there worshiping him, you worshiping their God, you following their customs, their laws, statutes, commandments, and their customs. Put all that together, what are you doing? You worshiping their God, their Father, who they follow, who they go to for protection. Their Father, because it's always your Father that gives you the protection that you need. You understand? Especially when you have a good Father. You understand? All right, so we understand that. We're going to drop that. Okay. Notebook all torn up. So give me 1 second. Fix this up a little bit. We're going to go to the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 13. All right. So the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11, verse 13. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. Verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Verse 15. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. Now, mind you, this is letting you know 13 is basically, you can think of it as a warning almost. It says, for such are false apostles, deceitful workers, people who are, doing works to deceive you. You understand? Transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. For example, prime example, like I said, I kind of grew up with my mother's church. She, they were Mormon, and they called themselves apostles. They didn't call themselves the 12 apostles, but they're preachers, priests, and bishops, and all that. Basically, before you become a bishop, you have to be an apostle first. Like, that was their rank system within the church. Like, for real. Now, mind you, again, let me read that one more time. For such are false apostles. You understand? This is the Mormons who believe that, who was it? Was it Joseph Smith? I think it was. Somebody in their Book of Mormon cured someone of their dark skin. Or let's also talk about the fact that, God cursed anybody, basically anyone who has dark skin. You have dark skin because you're cursed for your disobedience in heaven. This is what they believe. This is what they teach. You understand? Deceitful workers. I mean, yeah, that's very deceitful. They're over here telling you that you are cursed just because you got dark skin. Further, what was that we read that in? In Micah 2:1, Salakia. In Micah 2:1, where it says, woe to them who deceive inequity. And this is all they do all day and all night. At this point, I'm paraphrasing it. This, it's woe to these false churches, this BS Christianity. You understand? Woe to that. You understand? Transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. Mind you as well, this white man is saying, according to my book, my Book of Mormon, you are being cursed right now because you have dark skin. And one way that you can reverse this, because you can still be saved by, in the body of Christ. You can get baptized. All this mumbo jumbo, white people talk. You understand? Deceit. You understand? you can still be saved and your skin color isn't so bad anymore. Mind you as well, Joseph Smith was, that's basically their testament in America, mind you. So that's pretty new. That's a pretty new testament, if I may, if that was accurate. That'd be relatively new. Let's sit on there, or sit on that. Verse 14, and no marvel. Now, think about what we just read and went over as well in verse 13. Because in verse 14 it says, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. They make Satan to be the Messiah. And who is this angel of light? Caesar Borgia. This white man that we worship in these Christian churches. You understand? Verse 15. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. Of course, it only makes sense that, the Pope, it only makes sense that the Pope is white, because the white Messiah is only gonna raise up his own people to be apostles. Because hell, isn't that what Christ did? Isn't that what the truth did? Isn't that what the truth does? It raises up its own to be the priests and prophets of the Lord, to be the ones to lead our people out of the world, to lead them into salvation and away from destruction, to lead them into division and away from integration. Since that is the title of the class today. You understand? So, and the so-called oppressors' wise counsel and his wise wisdom and all the deceitful intellectual deceit that he has, of course, when he got everybody to believe that this was the Messiah, he went forward to, we're gonna put all the apostles, all of the people that lead the people, they're gonna look like me. They could be devils like me, and we're gonna keep them in the world. And that's what we fight with in the ISUPK, mind you. Is the fact that our people are trying to follow the people who are just trying to kill you. They're trying to kill you spiritually. Of course, they want to kill you physically. You give them the opportunity, they will do it, and then find a way to justify it. You understand? But spiritually is their real goal. Because if they were to kill all of our spirits, there is no Israel. But the Lord won't allow that to happen. Mind you, why? You can read, what was that, Micah 3:1? Or was it Micah 3:6? Or Malachi 3:6? One of the two? Let me see. I'll read it real quick. Let's see. Okay, so it's First Malachi. Book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 6. For I am the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. We keep on following. If the Lord didn't have love and mercy for his people, we would be consumed. Because think about how little of us actually follow the law, follow after the Lord. Actually follow, try to put in that work to fight against falling into sin. Who actually put in the work to fight against, the worldly lusts and urges. Think about how many actually do that. but get themselves caught up in all those traps and snares that the world has put on this earth to keep you from figuring out who you are. God damn it, if the Lord didn't have love and mercy on Israel, I know I wouldn't be in the truth. I probably would not be in the truth. I'll be honest. I know I wouldn't be in the truth because I don't deserve mercy for the things that I did when I was in the world. You understand? I don't deserve it. I deserve the death. I deserve to be confounded in that world and just lost and destroyed. That's the reality of it. But you know what? The Lord had mercy on me and had love on me, just like he does on all of us that want to hear his word and follow his ways. You understand? That will actually hear and listen to his word. You understand what I'm saying? Which is also very important as to why y'all need to do your part to make sure that you like and share this video so that we can help pull them brothers and sisters out of the world that do want to give that listening ear to get themselves right according to the Lord. You understand? This is why we do what we do in the ISUPK. This is why we keep on trying to push, all the time. We say the same things in the beginning of the class or even in the middle of the class, the end of the class, what have you, to make sure that y'all do your part from at home or you just listening to the class, to just simply hit the like and share button to boost up that algorithm so then that way, everybody, all the other brothers and sisters have the opportunity to get themselves straight as well. You understand what I'm saying? This is not a physical war, but a war against principalities. And then principalities, man, that's all about the spirit. It's about your spirit. We born over our spirit. You're exactly right. Joel Osteen is a fake apostle. Exactly. That was just in verse 15, 2 Corinthians 11 and 15. Because they put themselves as a great minister, and they want to appoint their own ministers and whatnot. You know what? You'd be a good fit. You with the same program. Let's keep these people asleep. You understand? Keep them asleep and destroyed. Because the moment that they wake up, they know that they are destroyed. You understand? All right. So we're gonna drop that now. Mind you, we just got done talking about Satan, right? It says that Satan himself is transformed to an angel of light. I just want y'all to kind of ponder on that. Hold on to that information. We're going to drop that, though. We're going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 12. All right. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven? Now, right now, it's asking, how did you fall from heaven, right? Paint a picture for you as we read. O Lucifer, son of the morning. O Lucifer, son of the morning. O Lucifer, the one that comes up with the bright, everybody sees him as the bright and shining star. It's on all the billboards. Everybody aspires to be the white man. Basically, everybody wakes up and says, on some Uncle Ruckus. Oh man, I just wake up and just think about how the best way that I could be just like the white man with his sciences, his intellect, and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? To be like that. And what's funny about that, but not so funny, what's sad is the fact that, in reality, that's really how our people do things. And if I may, my father being, from the tribe of Judah, a so-called Negro, a black man in the United States, he slipped on that same mindset. You understand? Where he believes you got to put your all into work, and that's just, all work, no play. Don't worry about, your time. Just basically just get that money and just, just so that you can feed it back with through bills and taxes and whatnot. mean, I understand, giving what is due to Caesar, but like my life ain't Caesar's. You understand? My back ain't Caesar's. Caesar lucky that he got the portions of my knees and in the back that he did, in my back that he did, and my ears, when I was in the military, but I'm not giving them the rest of it. Because you know what? I had someone call while I was in that burning house, that burning house, to help me turn my life around. I'll be damned if I'm gonna sit there and slave my back off for somebody that wants nothing but death and destruction for me. I do my part. That's the most you get for me. It's a lot. You understand? But mind you as well, there's nothing wrong with being a hard worker. You understand? Make sure that you always, bust your tail for your people, your nation, of course. Mind you as well, if I do take a minute, make sure that you pay your tithes. My sharad, you understand? Make sure you pay your tithes, 10%, every, 10 cents of every dollar, 1 penny of every 10 cents. Make sure that you pay your tithes. That is a commandment. Y'all understand? But moving on. How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? You understand? This is talking about Lucifer. Everybody said Lucifer, Satan, same people. Okay, let's get an understanding of that though. Who weakened the nations? Who's out here creating diseases and making war with everybody, spreading this BS Christianity and democracy and this, that, and the other to basically put everybody else under his foot? Who's doing that? Right? Verse 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. Hey, Salaki, you give me more of that ginger ale with some ice. And then send me one more when you get back. Salaki. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation and the sides of the north. Now, mind you, this is someone boldly speaking, saying that he's going to sit like God, right? He's going to sit, he will ascend to heaven and exalt his throne above the stars of God. Isn't there an exact replica of that on the quarter? On the dollar bill? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. No, you exactly right. But isn't there someone who does exalt themselves, takes so much pride, and I'm the first on the moon? Space race. This is what we doing. You understand? This is where we at. You feel me? This is what the so-called white man is speaking. This lets you know these verses, the Bible, when you read the Bible and you allow it to be taught by the priests and prophets of the Lord, you can actually see and learn that the devil ain't no red dude with a tail at the bottom of the earth with a pitchfork that's trying to just poke you for all of eternity. What kind of goofiness can you really believe? Like, it's a lot. And if I make, that was one reason why I could never believe my mom's church, my mother's church, or believe in Christianity in the first place before I was taught how to actually understand the Bible. You understand? The water. Yeah, ice is refreshing. Just eat, man. It's a lot. But you feel what I'm saying? He's here on this earth. And like he said, the earth is given into the trooper said, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked for water. Just letting you know that somebody is already in that position of, I am God. Ain't that why he cloning animals and what else is he doing? Cloning animals, splicing animals, doing all sorts of things that he really ain't got no business doing. Something that should be reserved for the Most High God to make a decision on. You understand? He decided he's going to sit in the throne above the Most High God, above everything. So-called white man is proud like that, right? Designer babies, yeah. Now you got babies that are being, injected while they're in the womb with, chemicals, so they can have purple eyes, green eyes, blue eyes, whatever color eyes, so that they can do this and do that. Yeah, designer babies. For the nerds out there that's watching, that's about to be our Spartans from freaking Halo and crap. We got them designer babies about to be super babies, some super warriors. But the best part is that, they don't even matter. They gonna make superhumans and super this and super that and get their ass super beat when Yahushua Mashiach come back. You understand? When the Most High God is done with them, that's it. That's it. The whole world comes crashing down. Then they're gonna do some time in paying back slavery, and then they're gone. You understand that? These are things that you can find in the Bible. And mind you, to get back, tie that back to what I just said, back onto, the actual topic. If you want no part in that, what do you think you need to do, sis? You need to separate. You need to get away from their ways. Tear away from the worldly ways. You understand? Verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Now, mind you, this ain't me saying that. This is them that got recorded. They got recorded of them saying this through their mouth and through their actions. More importantly, their actions. This is one thing for anybody to try to say, I'm going to be like that. Whatever, man. Lord might end up doing what have you, put your ass in your place. But they acting like they would be like the Most High. Go ahead. Isaiah 14, and we're about to go on to 15 right now. Verse 15. Yet they shall be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. He brought down to hell. It was all the way up in heaven, and Lucifer started to fall, because that's how we started off in 12. How art thou fallen from heaven? You already started coming down from heaven, from the high place. Who's in heaven right now? In our terms, in the earthly terms, heaven is being now, that white boy where, like we read in that article, where you can write Ku Klux Klan on a brother's jacket and then still retain your pension. I mean, the first thing that I would have, if that brother said that he does plan on holding his lawyer to possibly seek out legal action, I pray he does. And I pray he gets every doggone thing. I pray that he already did 20 years on the police force, and they take the 30 years that white man had and slap it onto his record. Plus that 8 years that he had as a police chief and slap it on his record. I'm pretty sure that'll put him in a position to retire. I don't know what, how much time they have to actually put in for the police to get their full pension and full retirement and everything. But I pray that that's the minimum that he gets out of that, plus millions of dollars. I pray he sues the precinct, the mayor, because all the mayor did was goddamn giving an apology. No, I want millions of dollars, I want you to give us an anti-hate bill for my people. Start pushing towards that. I would push that just so that the mayor can, really show his colors, to show that his apology don't mean nothing. I will push so that the people who hate us are put in a position where they have no choice but to show that they hate us, to show their colors. That would be my objection, objective if I was in that brother's shoes. But mind you as well, I hope that he gets everything from that white boy and then some. Then is able to sue the police team. Because it ain't like you cannot tell me that nobody knew that he was in the police force for 30 doggone years, and 8 of it he was a police chief, and nobody knew he was a part of the Ku Klux Klan. Then, mind you as well, got the audacity to try to say, and this is the police chief saying this, that it was just a color joke that is being blown out of proportion. Then why was you so eager to retire before you came out of paid administration leave? Somebody knows something, and it's got to be protected. Because mind you, what's a nickname for the Ku Klux Klan? Silent Army. They're silent because they're secret. You ain't supposed to know about it. You ain't supposed to. You ain't supposed to know who is a part of that army. It's just, like, one way to think about it is they silent militia. You understand? One way to think of it is like that's a silent militia. Well, you don't know who a militia Minuteman. You know they all Minutemen, but you don't know who's a silent Minuteman ready to go on a moment's notice to fight and defend, hoorah and all that nonsense. But that's what they are. They the Minuteman for the white man, for white supremacy. You understand that? And yet ye shall be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. What you think that is? They was in heaven, and they can be brought down to hell, the sides of the pit, where the flames are licking up on your back. And why are they licking your back? Because my goddamn bullwhip that I'm lashing your back with, because you ain't picking my cotton fast enough. When your people fall, that is what my bullwhip will feel against your back. Like flames is licking you. You understand? Left side. You might have to move your chair, baby. Yeah, you might have to move your chair. Yeah, I'll grab it later. You understand what I'm saying? Well, all the terrible atrocities that your people conducted on my people is coming back on you even worse. So it's only going to be like you sitting in the pit. You think that the hottest part is in the center? It's hot in the center, but when it's an enclosed pit, and you on the wall, now you're getting on both sides. Then not only that, when you're in a fire pit in the dead center, it's going to burn the nerves. Then the pain is actually psychological. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. Supposedly, I don't know that person, but you know what I'm saying? Pain is psychological because it burns off your nerves. So, and then essentially, you'll just start to be burnt alive. Flames will lick into your, quickly go inside you and burn you from the inside out and the outside in, a nice little crisp. Nah, but that's not what we want, though. That's not what you deserve. You deserve to be on the outside of the pit, where it's hot enough to fuck you up, or you just praying, you just begging for this to end, but it's not hot enough that it'll kill you until we decide it's ready to kill you. Because mind you, is that not what they did to us? Is that not what they doing to us? Were we just sitting here begging and pleading that all of these atrocities stop while we are in hell? Right? Fair is fair, right? My God is a righteous God. My God is a just God. Yahushua Mashiach is a righteous and a just king because he is just like his father. And he's just like his father. And he's about his father's business. And that's being righteous and just. You understand? And mind you as well, if you want no part of this, you need to do what? You need to separate. You understand? Verse 16. That they see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Now hold on. What should stand out about this verse? What should stand out about this verse? I'll give you one hint. It's on topic of who we should be separated from. Go ahead. Shaking kingdoms? La. What should stand out because of what I've already been talking about going into this? Damn, that's about first. Let's hope I was going to get these done. I talked too damn much. Is this person the person who made the earth tremble? You. The only reason why you're wrong, I want you to read what you said. Trooper Towers Award. Read what you said again, then read what the verse says, and I want you to tell me, show me, correct why you're wrong, so that you can be right. Because there's something about this that should stand out. Because mind you as well, in verse 12, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? We go into what's going to happen to Lucifer, the son of the morning, after everything, after he promised that he was going to be like the Most High and set his nest up in the stars, and this, oh man, is it just pride. You understand? Sounds like someone we should know, that we all know, right? Bring all that together. He said, I will be like the Most High. Who trying to be like the Most High? Put all them thoughts together and tell me what should stand out with verse 16. What in particular? I want to see something just in case. If I can figure out why he wrote what he said, because like you literally, like you said the answer, but it's wrong because of what you said. Yeah, so you at least got my out. There's no reason why you should have said it like that. Sis, want to give another stab? I'll give you the hint that he gave. He said, is this the person who made the earth tremble? Tell me why his answer is 99% right. So, no, you're right. Because it says, is this the man who made the earth tremble? Why should that stand out? Why should that stand out? Think about everything I just said. Everything I just said. Bringing it all together to help y'all figure out what should stand out in verse 16. It indicates a ruler. Okay. From I'm going to say from what we read, no. It indicates something, but not a ruler. So la'a, cause of war. What does that indicate? You take verse 12. So I can tell we started from verse 12, and then we just finished on 16. Okay. What is it about verse 16 saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble? In other words, put everybody, tremble in the sense of the earth to fear. Everybody feared the white man. You understand that? If they didn't, North Korea, China, Japan, Africa, Russia, everybody would have been already went to war with America, with the white man. They would have been done it. But they've got fear. They actually feared America. But why? Not why. What's the correlation between 16 and 12? Now, 16, we know that one thing that should really stand out is it being a man. Is that it spoke about this is the man that made the earth to tremble, right? All right, let me ask you this. Christians say, who is going around afflicting evil and doing all these terrible things, and when grandmama's baby boy is doing this, that, and the other, someone's got hold of him. Who is it? It's Satan, it's the devil, it's Lucifer. According to Christians, those are the same three, right? The devil is Lucifer and Satan, correct? They're all the same, right? Let's read verse 12. How art thou How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Now let's go back to 16. Is this the man that made the earth to tremble? That's a direct line upon line with a precept and a precept to show y'all that Satan is not some angel that we all worship. Satan is not the devil under the ground. That Satan, first of all, Satan is an angel, but this Lucifer is the spirit of the white man, essentially. You understand what I'm saying? This Lucifer, oh son of man, or so like not son of man, son of the morning, this Lucifer is who the white man is. You understand? Lucifer is that, we read it in 2 Corinthians 11:15. I'm trying to think of 11:15. Let me pull it real quick. Huh? Not the angel of light. Well, Lucifer is the angel of light, but that's not what I'm looking for right now. He is the... Oh, okay, no. Yeah, he is the angel of light because he follows after, the ways of Satan with deception. Because Satan's job as an angel is to put deception onto the earth. His administrator, his minister, his apostles, his not Messiah, but his leader is basically the spirit of Lucifer. Does that make sense? Just like how our our leading spirit we need to follow after, according to the New Testament, is the spirit of Christ. Theirs is the spirit of Lucifer, right? Which is from Satan, the angel. Angel basically puts it on Lucifer, hey, puts it on the spirit, hey, all right, listen, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a dumbass God named Baal, and for all and good all, and you're all retarded. You know what I'm saying? That's what he gonna do. Lucifer carries that out. That spirit carries that out. Because mind you as well, when the so-called white man knows he the greatest thing on the earth thinks, he knows, it's a like it. When he thinks he knows he's the greatest thing on earth, why is he jumping into Hinduism? Why is he jumping into Christianity, Judaism? Hell, trying to be a Hebrew Israelite. At the same time, which is funny, dude will say, yeah, I know I'm Esau, according to the Bible. I know who I am, what God says, and this, that, and the other. But yet, he will still say, verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Mind you, there are white devils out there. There are devils out there, the so-called white men out there who know they Esau. They know their death and destruction, such as the United States government. They know. They know what's coming their way. Why do you think they push so far and beyond with their military weaponry? Y'all know we spend hundreds of billions of dollars. I think last year America spent $147 billion on military weapons, just on the military budget as a whole. But you know what the next country, number 2 most expensive military in the world is? With how much they pay, how much they spend on their military? It's somewhere around like $5 billion. If I'm not mistaken, they're in the hundreds of millions. Let's verify. That's what we're gonna do. Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, because they up theirs. Oops. Okay, want to show me the rows. But I'll give you. So, the United States spends $778 billion. China spends $252 billion. You know what the next one spends? It's India, who spends 72. Just 72. Then the Russian Federation spends 61. You see how big that gap is? Now, mind you as well, China at least has a billion-man army. Oh, no, not billion. Are they million or billion? I think they might be million-man army. I think they're well, maybe they are billion. I'll verify that next class, all right? Because we do need to move on. But they got a very big military. The United States military is not even at 500,000 as a whole. Okay? But yet, they still spend, what is that, 3 times the amount that China does? For what? For what reason? Because the so-called white man knows what he's got to fight against. The so-called white man knows that it's not man he's got a sword with. He's got to have a sword play with. That he's got to fight against. He can deal with man. So when you spend $750 freaking billion a year, it should be nothing for you to come up with some covert missile thing, this, Transforce Rex bomb thingy, to go and silently go bomb another country and just say, okay, we're done. Done with that. Done and over with. But no. What if we just go back into where it was talking about in Micah 2:1? where they think all night about how they're going to deceive and how they're going to implement their evil works. Yeah, okay, we'll play these little stupid games with each other right now. Oh, I'm going to go to war with you. I'm going to go to war with you. I'm going to start World War III. We'll play, teeter-totter this, and then we'll just calm it down when we know it's getting a little bit too hype. But when the time is right, they're going to cause for a form of unity, of human unity. Why? Because Christ ain't coming just for the white man. Christ ain't coming for the white man's head, slocky. For the white man's head. You're going to take the China man's head too. And the Korean man, and the Japanese man, and the African man, all the East Indian man, the Arab man, the Australian, he's coming for all their heads. So why not unify? Yeah, we fought. We might have fought a little bit here and there, but why not unify? You understand what I'm saying? All in all, what I want you to understand out of Isaiah 14, 12 through 16, is to understand that the devil, that Satan, is not somebody underground with a pitchfork. You understand? And in fact, we're going to touch on it a little bit more. We got short on time. I could take out a couple more precepts before I hit my 2-hour mark. So I got like 5 minutes. I'll go over just a little bit because I do like talking about this subject. The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9. And the great and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, who was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Who was that? Let's break it down from, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent. The old serpent. What old serpent? Who's the old serpent? When did you hear about the old serpent in the Bible? When, as far as I know, this is one of the very few times it references an old serpent. And this is the very last book. Where do you think you learned about the old serpent? Go ahead. In Genesis. Who's the old serpent? Who is it? Huh? Okay, the serpent is the oppressor today, but who is the serpent in the time of Genesis? Okay, it's Satan, it's Lucifer, it's the devil. He was called the devil, the deceiver, but who was he? Who is he in the story of Genesis? In the story of Genesis, who is the old serpent? Okay, he's the white man, but give me more though. The old serpent. I mean, what did he do in Genesis? He's the one who beguiled Eve. That the point is you read that in Genesis. What does Genesis mean? The very last book is Revelation, where things start to become revealed. Revelation means to reveal, the revealing of something. And so what is being revealed in Revelation chapter 12, verse 9, is that the old serpent, whom of which is spoken of in the beginning in Genesis, whom is called the devil and Satan, whom of which also which deceiveth the whole world, he was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. But the point is that Satan, that devil, that serpent in the beginning is all the same. When you understand that the serpent is a man, like y'all said, y'all wasn't wrong when y'all was saying that. You're the white man, yeah. You say, yeah. But when you put all of those things together, the white man has always been here on earth. This deceitful game that he plays has always been here on earth since the beginning, since Genesis. Anything else before that doesn't matter. Because there is, aside from what the Lord had told Moses to write about the creation. Because if anything before, Genesis from chapter 1 all the way up to, where chapter 2 starts, if there's anything else that's not in there that goes before Adam, it's not mentioned because it doesn't matter. It's that simple. Just like, for instance, when pertaining to your salvation, for you being saved, do you need to know if the earth is flat or if it's round? Does that get you salvation? Do you need to know if there's life outside of earth, like earth? It doesn't get you salvation, right? It doesn't matter. Does it mean that because it wasn't written in the book that the earth, could be flat or round? It is written in the book, but for the sake of my example, so we'll just stay on aliens, right? Life on other planets that are similar to Earth. Just because it's not written in here where it says that when you go to this planet, just because it wasn't written in that manner or even spoken about at all, does that mean that there is no life on another planet? But at the same time, does that also mean that there is life on? It doesn't matter. It don't matter. If it wasn't written, it doesn't matter. But there's a reason why in Revelation, in Isaiah, in Genesis, all throughout the Bible, there's multiple precepts. And mind you as well, Salakia, y'all, I didn't get through all of them. I might touch on some of these next week. On top, before I go into my the topic I'll start into for next week. But the point is there's multiple precepts that speak against who Satan is, what the devil is, and who the devil is. Multiple precepts. All throughout. So there should never be a confusion to say, you understand, that, hey, the devil is, 1,000 miles under the earth and this, that, and the other. You be sinful, that's where you're going to go for the rest of eternity. No. That's ridiculous nonsense that you learn in the Christian church where they don't know the Bible. You understand? They don't read the Bible, they don't learn the Bible, they don't teach the Bible. The only thing they do is worship who? Who gave you Caesar Borgia? I'll take that. They just worship the white man. Which the white man is who? The devil is what? Meaning, what does the devil mean? He's the deceiver. They just worship the deceiver. That's it. You understand? And with that, I'm just going to ask that y'all make sure, this concludes my class for today. Make sure that y'all go on YouTube, ISUPK Nevada, right there on the screen in the white. Make sure that you go onto the ISUPK Nevada YouTube page and subscribe to our YouTube page. And also like and share the video. Then also, for those of y'all that haven't done it, go on to the Facebook, ISUPK Las Vegas. Like the page, like and share the video. And do your part. Help this word get pushed out to the four corners of the earth. You understand? And with that, Shalom Yahweh Shabbat Pastor Smith.